Hi everybody. So this next TBR reviewlet is going to be focusing on new releases from the past couple of months. I am going to be reviewing Ministry of Time separately when I do my main wrap-up video in July, because I have my book discussion for that book at the bookstore tomorrow night, and I want to save my thoughts on that book until I discuss it with other people to try to formulate a better opinion of it. What I can say about the Ministry of Time is that I thought the plot was really interesting. I gave it 2.75 to 3 stars on Goodreads. The first book I wanted to talk about is Happily Ever After by Lynn. For those of you who have seen the movie Wedding Crashers with Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn, that is absolutely what this book reminds me of, because it's about two people named Sophie and Max who basically make a career out of standing up at weddings and objecting to the people getting married. Aside from Sophie and Max, another thing that was a cute relationship in this book was Sophie's relationship with her neighbors, Larry and Rose, because it made me remember my grandparents who have passed away and how good they were at giving advice. So overall, my thoughts on Lynn Painter's books: Happily Never After, better than the movies, and The Do-Over get 5 stars. Or I think it's 4 actually. The Love Wager gets 4 stars. And Mr. Wrong Number gets 2.75 stars, and so does Betting on You. The next book I wanted to talk about is The Rule Book by Sarah Adams. Sarah Adams has been one of my highlight authors of the past 2 months, because I read Practice Makes Perfect, One in Rome, and the cheat sheet for last month's video where I did the Taylor Swift coded TBR, which actually I'm going to be remaking that video next month probably, because by then I will have read Heartless Hunter and A Tempest of Tea. And there is also a video that I have recently watched on Jack Edwards' channel, which was a book for his Celebrity Book Club series that he did, where he picked books that inspired Taylor Swift's music videos. So when I redo my Swift Decoded TBR, I will also be including my reviews for the following books: Stargirl by Jerry Spinelli, The Beautiful and the Damned by F. Scott Fitzgerald, and I think that's it, because I will be reading The Great Gatsby again in September for my books I read in school, but I am re-ranking TBR. So for the rule book, I love this book so much better than a cheat sheet. I didn't like the fact that in the cheat sheet, the character POVs stopped. One character's in the cheat sheet, one character's POV stopped halfway down the page, and that's when the other character started, and that was so confusing. And I also didn't like the main female character in the cheat sheet, because I thought she was whiny and annoying, much like Liz from Better Than the Movies. But in this book, I really liked the main couple, Derek and Nora, and I was able to relate to Nora a whole lot better, probably because she's a journalist. And as you all know, this blog, before it was on YouTube, It was a journal on WordPress that was basically, actually, before it was on WordPress, it was on Blogspot, then it was on Tumblr for a while. Then it moved to WordPress after I realized that Tumblr was not very professional to blog on. So what this entertainment blog originally started off as was a way for me to share my articles for the Milford Cabinet with the greater community, because I had a freelance writing job for the Milford Cabinet from 2009 to 2013 out of college as a graduate with a communications degree. And what I did when I had my freelancing job was I wrote theater reviews for Milford Area Players, Riverbend Youth Company, Nashua Theater Guild, and Peacock Players. And that Nora is also a journalist, but she's obviously a sports journalist, and she starts a relationship with a retired NFL player named Derek. And I just love the buildup of the relationship. And I also appreciate Shara Adams for her author's note in the beginning, telling us which chapter is a spicy scene so you can skip over it. That enhanced my reading experience because I don't like spicy scenes, so I just skipped that chapter right away. And for those of you who haven't read this book yet, if you want to avoid the spicy part, it's chapter 34. The next book I wanted to talk about is This Summer Will Be Different by Carley Fortune. Back in March or April, I read her book, Meet Me at the Lake, which I gave a B- to. The reason why I didn't like Meet Me at the Lake was because I found the main female character in that book to be very whiny, and I didn't really like her very much, but the character in this book I really liked a lot more. Her name is Lucy. So, I don't want to spoil this book too much because I recommended it to my aunt last weekend when we were at the beach, and I hope that she plans to read it so she can tell me what she thinks about it. But one discussion question I will answer, because it won't spoil anything, is question 9, which is, what is your relationship with Anne of Green Gables, if any? And then there's another question I will answer. So, I actually recently started to read Anne of Green Gables this past month. It is one of the books that will be reviewed in my monthly wrap-up video, which will be longer form. I do these shorter form reviews just so that way my monthly wrap-up is not an hour long, because I want to be able to engage my readers, and I don't want them to miss information about certain books also. So, the thing I love about Anne of Green Gables is the setting of Prince Edward Island, which is where this book, This Summer Will Be Different, is set. And I love Anne's character, and when I review Anne of Green Gables in my monthly wrap-up, I will talk more about what I love about Anne's character. Another discussion question I wanted to answer that does not spoil anything for people who want to pick up this book themselves to read it is, what is your most memorable vacation and why? So every year for 4th of July, my family plans a reunion at our beach house near the Cape, and we pick a theme for this reunion where we have to dress up in team colors, etc., etc. This year, our theme is European countries, but back when I was in high school, when Survivor was just starting to get popular, our theme for the Family Reunion Olympics was Survivor, and that was the most fun theme that we had because one of the activities that we did was clam digging, and that was a lot of fun, and then we also had a sandcastle building competition. So this year, Matt and I are in charge of planning the Olympics, and as I was just saying, our theme this year is going to be countries of the world, and the countries that we're basing our teams off of are Greece, Italy, Spain, and Mexico, I think. I have to look at the email. We just sent out the email this afternoon, but I don't have it in front of me, so I can't look at it. So yes, I gave Meet Me at the Lake 4.75 stars on Goodreads because of the setting of Prince Edward Island and because of the relationship build up between Lucy and Felix, which is also something I don't want to spoil for people who want to read it. The final new release I wanted to talk about just came out 2 weeks ago, and it was something that I was anticipating, but I was kind of a little bit disappointed with because I have been a big fan of all of Ali Hazelwood's other books, especially her release from February, Bride. Like, I wasn't expecting to like Bride because it kind of reminded me of Twilight a little, but I actually liked it much better than Twilight. But with this book, so I usually like the relationship buildup between the two characters, but I'm pretty sure that this female main character was autistic coded, and I don't really know if Ali Hazelwood did a lot of research into autistic people, because I feel like Rue does not do a very good job of representing people who are autistic. I'm neurodivergent, but I do not have autism, but I have, my husband is autistic, and so are some of my friends. So I think Ali Hazelwood could have researched autism a little bit better, because there were some clear signs that Rue was autistic, but I don't think her character was really written that great. Other than that, I really like the relationship between Rue and the main male character, Eli. Like most of Ali Hazelwood's leads in her books, their relationship buildup is very sweet, and I like Eli. I think he's my favorite book boyfriend in an Ali Hazelwood book besides Jack from Love Theoretically. So I gave this book 3.75 stars. So 2 new releases that I'm going to review next month in my July wrap-up are Tangled Up in You by Christina Lauren, which is the 4th book in the Meant to Be series, which is a modern day retelling of Disney series. I have read the first 3 books in these series and have absolutely loved them, so I can't wait for Christina Lauren's installment. The first 3 books in the series have been based on Cinderella, Beauty and the Beast, and The Little Mermaid. My favorite, of course, has been The Little Mermaid, which was called Kiss the Girl. The Beauty and the Beast and Cinderella stories were called By the Book and If the Shoe Fits. And I really liked how all of these authors really did a good job with modernizing these characters. Like in the Cinderella book, Cinderella is a plus-size participant on The Bachelorette, and the book's version of The Bachelorette is called After Midnight, and that's how basically Prince Charming is the bachelor who picks the bachelorettes. And I thought that was the author who wrote that book, her name is Julie Murphy, and I think she did a really good job interpreting Cinderella for the modern day. With the Little Mermaid book, it stays pretty true to form. Ariel and her sisters are in a music group. Vanessa, who is Ursula in her human form, is basically a agent from a competing music label who wants to sign Ariel to her music label to get her away from her parents, or her family, I should say. And then the Beauty and the Beast book is set in modern day New York City, and the main character, who is supposed to be representing Belle, works in publishing, and she is trying to write a book that's about, like, Black characters to, like, focus her romances more on Black characters, and her character, Isabel, is also a Black character. So I really can't wait to see what Christina Lauren does with this new book, Tangled Up in You, which is based on Tangled. Rapunzel. And then the other new release that comes out tomorrow is called A Novel Love Story by Ashely Posten. Ashely Posten wrote Geekerella, which I just finished. It's another modern day reversion of Cinderella, but it's for, like, more tech and gamer type people, and it's a YA book, and her 2 adult romances are called The Dead Romantics and oh my god, I just finished it. The 7-Year Slip. So, The Dead Romantics is about a girl who is a ghostwriter for a romance author, and she is basically trying to get this book published, and then she meets, I guess, I can't remember what exactly happened. It's something to do with a dead author whose ghost comes to speak to her or something. It was really good. I enjoyed it. I read that book last month, and I gave it 4 stars on Goodreads. And let's see, where are the discussion questions? Happy Light Office. Bookshelf corner. Dead Romantics. Here we go. My number 1 comfort read is Beach Read by Emily Henry, which I am reading for my Beach and Lake Vibes book TBR. And Gus is my favorite book boyfriend because he is so sweet. And I actually just wrote a Valentine's Day censored fanfiction sent around Gus in January, which I'm going to be putting in my romance anthology. And another discussion question I wanted to answer is about, like, what makes you like a certain book, and that's question 6. And my answer to that is Harry Potter, because I love the world building of Hogwarts. And the recent Ashely Posten book that I just read was The 7-Year Slip. And this book was really hyped up by all of the booktubers. And I liked it, but I kind of lean towards the opinion of Sarah without an H than I do with Destiny, Sarah, and Haley and Rachel, Katherine. I love the idea of the magical realism and the house about able to go back in time. I think this trope, which is time travel, wasn't really used very well. Like, Sarah without an H said the same thing in her review in her booktubers favorite books of 2023 video that she posted last December. I also agree with her comment that Erwin and Ewan and Clementine's relationship was too insta-lovey. Like, I wish they had gotten to know each other better before they fell in love, because it didn't make their relationship very believable. And I loved how Ewan was a chef. And I wish that this book had been dual POV, because I love it when romance books have both the female and male point of view. And that would have been interesting to see what the point of view was for Erwin in his relationship with Clementine. And his nickname for Clementine was really cute. I love that. It was Lemon. It was so sweet. They were sweet, but I just think they fell in love too fast with each other. And another thing I wanted to mention is, apparently, this was a spoiler that Sarah mentioned in her video, but I guess her aunt commits suicide, and I wish that had been explored more. Like, that should have been a third point of view, or maybe it should have been explained more, like maybe in a note that the aunt could have left to Clementine about why she committed suicide, because that would have been... That was a plot hole I found, that the suicide was not really... The reason for the suicide was not really explained very well. Oh, that's just more words. That's why I'm confused. Okay, here we go. So as I was mentioning, Ewan is a chef, and one of the discussion questions for the 7-year slip is, what is a food or recipe that is your favorite? And so I'm Italian. I come from a family who really loves to cook, and my favorite recipe that my grandmother made was this cookie recipe she made at Christmas time called Butterhorns. I have never tried to make it myself, but I would like to try to learn. And my other grandmother on my dad's side always used to make this great Thanksgiving side dish called Delmonico potatoes. And I really want to learn how to cook that recipe as well, because it was my favorite recipe growing up. She died in 2021 from dementia. Another discussion question I want to answer is, if you had a plane ticket to anywhere in the world, where would you go, and where do you think Clementine went at the end of the book? If I had a plane ticket to go anywhere in the world, I would go to London, because I've never been to London, or I would go back to Italy to visit my family, because I haven't been there since 2008. I haven't been there in about 15 years, I think, because the last time I went there was 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. It's been a long time since I've been to Italy, so. And where do I think Clementine went at the end of the book? I hope she got to see the world to get more inspiration for a book she was going to write, and if Ashely Posten were to write a sequel to The 7-Year Slip, I would like to see what Clementine got up to in her travels around the world and what she publishes a book about, because that would be interesting and it would be funny. It would be cool if, like, they did a crossover with Beach Read and The 7-Year Slip, because I think in this book, Ewan is trying to write a cookbook. And it would actually be sort of cool if Emily Henry and Ashely Posten wrote a sequel together that combined The 7-Year Slip and Beach Read, because January and Gus and Clementine and Erwin are both publisher in the book publishing world, and it would be cool if they, like, got together and, like, wrote a book together about all of their experiences with being in publishing, and maybe they could also throw recipes in there from all of their families, because that would be cool. So Emily Henry and Ashely Posten, if you are watching this, there is an idea for a book you guys could write together. So thank you for tuning in. Have a great day.